Okay, so here is our first on the job. We've got Bill and Lee. They have their house there, and there's their dining room and living room. And they need to refinish the floor. So they've done all the measurements, 10 feet here, 12 feet here, 6 feet, 10 feet, 16 feet, and 20 feet. And they want to know the area that they need to go out and buy, how many square feet, in order to cover the whole thing. So what we need to do is we need to look at this shape, and we have to break it up into rectangles. And in the solution, you can see that one way to break up the rectangles is to draw a line down there, and then you would get these two green ones. Or you could have drawn a line across here and had those two blue ones. It doesn't matter which way you decide to do that. Both will give you the same answer. So here, in the green one, you can see they took this first rectangle, which is 10 by 12, and figured out that was 120. The second rectangle is 10 by 16, and figured that area was 160. So if they first figured out this rectangle to be 120 and this one to be 160, adding those up will give us your total square footage. In the blue one, now they have 6 by 10. That'll make this area 60. And this one's 10 by 22, which will make this area 220. Adding them up, and you'll get 280. So here's one for you to try. Try it in both ways. They want you to split it up into two different sets of rectangles, and then decide which one is easier. First method. First way you could draw the line across this way. Let's call that our blue one for part A. Then you're going to have an area 1 that's 8 by 9. That'll make area 1 72. Oh, total area. I'll write that later. Area 2 is now 6 by 14. 6 times 14 is 84. How did I get 84? Mental math. But some way when you are doing 6 times 14, mental math, what you do is you think of 14 is the same as 10 plus 4. And 6 times 10 is 60, and 6 times 4 is 24. Add them up, and you'll get 84. That's a good way to do that with mental math. So now the total area will be 72 plus 64, 84, thank you. Woo! 72 plus 84, which will be 156. And since we're dealing with feet, this will be feet squared, or square feet. So that is if we broke it up using that blue line. A second method is we could have broke it up using the green line right here. Now this is a little bit more difficult because our first area, maybe I'll use a black line because you can see it better. Our first area is 6 by, how long is that side? They tell us, but they don't tell us directly.
It's 5.
It's 5.
14.
This line is going to be 14 minus 9, which is 5, because the whole length is 14. This length is 9. So if this is 5, that gives us our first area, 6 times 5, which is 30.
Could you just count it as like a whole, like count it as one block?
Now our second area is 9 by, and again, they don't tell us this whole length. How are we going to find that?
Magic.
It's going to be 14. How did you figure out it was 14? It's 8 here plus 6 to give us 14. So then we would have 14 times 9, which is 126. And adding those up, 30 plus 126. Notice we get the exact same answer, 156 square feet. But did you find the second line more difficult because you had to figure out more stuff? So the first line, all the measurements were given to you for the blue one. The black one, you had to do a little bit more figuring. So that's sometimes the case. One will be easier and one might be harder.